What is a 1031 exchange and how does it work? Today we're going to talk about the basics. And a 1031 exchange is so called because it's named for the number of the tax code where it came from. And a 1031 exchange in today's era is specifically in relation to real estate. It used to be that you could do a 1031 exchange on other investment property like stocks or artwork, but nowadays it is limited to real estate investments. Now, contrary to what a lot of people may think, you do not have to sell a certain classification of investment property and purchase the exact same type of property. So, as long as it's any investment real estate for other investment real estate, it qualifies. So for example, if you have an apartment building and you're really tired of all your tenants and you want to get into something more passive, you could sell the apartment building and exchange it into a retail strip center, or you could exchange it into farmland that's leased to a farmer. So there's a tremendous amount of flexibility as long as it's specifically just real estate held for investment purposes. So that's a key criteria as well. It cannot be for your personal residence. It must be held for investment purposes, but it could be a house. It could be a beach house that you're holding for, future down the road scenario. And in the meantime, you're going to rent it out. That's considered held for investment purposes as well. So any real estate for any other real estate qualifies. Now, when you are doing a 1031 exchange, there's a couple of key criteria that you must follow or else you'll invalidate the exchange. The first one is that you must have an intermediary. So when you close on the property that you want to sell, that money must go to a third-party company who is specifically set up and is paid to be an intermediary. So they take possession of the proceeds of your sale. In the moment that you take possession of that money, you can no longer do a 1031 exchange and you've invalidated it. So it's very important that you have a trusted third-party intermediary and that you set that up before you close, because obviously if you take possession of that money, the party's over. So you must have an intermediary, and the time frame that you follow is very important. So from the time that you settle on the property that you want to sell, you have 45 days to identify properties that you would like to purchase, and then a total of 6 months in order to close on those properties. So the time frame is very important. So typically, if you're going to sell and purchase another property in 1031 exchange, a buyer will, from the moment they're under contract with the property they're selling, they're out there hunting in the market. And they have up to 45 days after settling on that property. So let's say that it takes them 60 days to settle on their property. So they get 60 days plus another 45 days after it settles to identify replacements. Now you can identify more than one. So there's two different rules for identifying the replacement property. You could do a total of 3 other properties that you might want to purchase, and you could purchase one or you could purchase all 3, or you could follow the 200% rule. So let's say that you want to sell a piece of farmland and instead you want to buy a whole bunch of single family homes. So 3 might not be enough. So you could identify as many as you wanted as long as it does not exceed 200% of the property value that you're selling. So for example, if you're selling a piece of farmland for $1 million, then you could identify up to $2 million worth of single family homes to replace that property with. And again, you could buy all of them, or you could just buy enough to satisfy the $1 million requirement. The other thing to keep in mind with a 1031 exchange is you must purchase a property of equal or greater value, and it is equal to your sale price. So for example, if you're selling a property that's $1 million and you have a $500,000 mortgage, once that mortgage is paid off at settlement, you're left with $500,000. So a lot of investors think that $500,000 is the amount that they have to reinvest, but actually is the $1 million that you must reinvest. So if you have current mortgage on the property you're selling, you must replace it with either another mortgage or else put more cash in if you have more cash available so that the sale price is at least the same or higher. So you could easily purchase a $2 million property if you wanted to. There's no problem in going up in value. You just can't go down without triggering tax ramifications. Now, you can certainly go down. There's nobody looking over your shoulder saying you must purchase $1 million or you can't do it. You could purchase a property that's $750,000 in that example, but then you would owe tax on the remaining $250,000 that you are not reinvesting in your 1031 exchange. So keep those main criteria in mind in order to have a successful 1031 exchange. And when you do, they can be a tremendous tool for deferring the taxes on a real estate sale down the road, which of course gives you more control of your money now and the ability to increase your investment return. I hope this brought you some value. And if you're looking for investment property within the states of Pennsylvania or Maryland, please reach out to us. We're happy to help.